Hello, my name is Sonia Ross. I'm a psychotherapist, intuitive messenger, and an author. And this is the May 2024 collective reading. This is the May 2024 collective reading. So I'm so happy you're here. And I'm so happy to share what Spirit has brought forth for us today. So these are going to be about the energies for May of 2024 and what you can best do to support yourself with the guidance of Spirit and how to navigate those energies. Okay. So I've asked Spirit and I have the right cards, so we're going to begin. So I was guided to pull 6 cards instead of my usual 5, and so we'll see where this takes us. So the first card is the 6 of Swords. The other thing I wanted to say, which is really interesting, is that I'm using my first deck, my Rider-Waite deck, and typically when I do these readings, I use my One World Tarot deck, which is based heavily on the Rider-Waite, but I just was receiving guidance all week to work with the Rider-Waite and my OG original deck. So I think that's really interesting. We're going to see what happens with that. Excuse me for wiping my nose. Okay. So the first card we're getting in the 6 card spread is the 6 of Swords. Okay, so this is about moving to smoother water. So what I want to say about this before I pull all the cards, it's just what I'm receiving and I'm intuiting, is that January, February, March, April were very, very heavy, heavy months for many, many people. In that there was a lot of swords energy, a lot of energy of worry and anxiety in the air. And when I did the readings for all of the life path numbers and all the collective readings, there was just a heavy energy of, people working heavily with their minds, really working to clarify their thoughts, dig deeper into their thoughts, work with their subconscious minds. There was a lot going on in the first 4 months of the year about working with our thoughts that were known to us and the thoughts that were unknown to us. There was a lot going on about working with our mind, our subconscious mind, healing the thoughts that have been wounding to us, really looking at the things that we were carrying that were not our own, that we had been holding on to for too long. And so in all the readings I did for the first 4 months of the year, it was just swords, 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 air, 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 our mind, our mind, our mind. And so what I think this 6 of Swords is saying is that as we're going into May of 2024, we're moving to a space where we want to move to smoother waters. We want to move to smoother waters with our minds, our emotions, and we just want things to calm down. We just want things to calm down. And I feel like that's the energy for a lot of us. We just want things to calm down. We want things to be a little bit smoother and not as anxious and anxiety producing. Some of that is due to some of the anxiety and tension that we're feeling is due to our own personal circumstances, but then some of it is magnified by what's happening on the planet. There's so much energy on the planet right now, energy that's coming on the planet to transform us, to lift us up, to take us into the new state of being. But in doing so, it's exposing a lot within ourselves and in the outer world. And so it's just making everything, or because of all the energy that's on the planet, it's just making everything more intense and it's making everybody's day to day just seem harder. And so I think this is all of us, right? We all want to move to smoother waters. We want things to calm down and we want to get to a place of safety within ourselves and our own lives. Yeah. Okay. And so in the obstacle position, okay, so this is really interesting. We have the 9 of Wands. And so this is the 9 of Wands, and this is a card of someone who's in defense. They're in battle mode, they're guarded. They have to really kind of shore up their perimeter because they've kind of taken a beating, but they're still on their feet and they're still standing. But this is basically coming up in the obstacle position. So, like a reversal. So, this is saying, for those of us who've been so defended and guarded for so long, we're going to have to work with ourselves to lower our defenses. We're going to have to go within ourselves and really look at the places internally where we've been guarded, where we've been defensive. Maybe we've been blocked in certain ways, where we've been defending against, certain unnecessary internal processes that we have to go through. And Spirit is saying it's time to lower our guard and lower our defenses and go within, which which would make sense if these two cards are side by side, right? Wanting to move pursuit, wanting to move to smoother waters, but then also wanting to needing, this is not a want, this is a need, needing to go to a place of, you know, feeling like they can put their internal guard down, that they can, you know, take care of what's happening inside of themselves. The next card is the Five of Swords. Okay, so we already have 6 cards and 2 of them are swords. And so again, I'm not surprised. The swords have been so heavy over, you know, over 2024. It's really, really interesting. And so this card is a card of embattled is not the right word. I kind of feel like this person was a victim of this person. You know what I'm saying? Like this person did them dirty, right? And did not treat them well. And they're left feeling like this. Okay. So if you've been feeling, you know, embattled, betrayed, you know, some of you may be struggling with those feelings, feeling embattled and betrayed. So I'll say more about that. Yeah. So, because in this card, I'm really looking at this back figure. And so a lot of you may be struggling with feeling embattled or betrayed or, you know, done dirty in some way. And then we have the Four of Wands. So interesting. So already we have two swords cards and 2 wands cards. So the wands is about wands are about passion, creativity, and inspiration. And the fours are about building a new foundation. Fours are very foundational because you have fours are all about planting the seed, firming it up, make sure it's completely stable and it has everything it needs to grow. Fours are all about structure and order. And so with the wands energy, you're trying to bring structure and order to something passionate, creative, and joyful in your life. So that's very, very interesting. These cards are wearing me out. Okay. And so then we have the 3 of Swords. Normally, this is the card that nobody wants to see. Let me just also say that I did the fan when I laid all these cards out. And so the fact that I still got so many swords and so many wands is very, very interesting. But this is the message from Spirit. For me, this card is not always the card of heartbreak and, you know, betrayal. For me, this card is the work that we need to do to heal our heart. When I see this card, I see us pulling these swords out of our heart. And yes, it's painful to do so, but it's necessary in order for us to move forward. And then the last energy, these are all wands cards and all swords. This is like blowing my mind. Okay. And so the last card in the spread is the 10 of Wands. And so some of us will be working with the energy of reassessing our burdens, reassessing the things that we're carrying, and maybe trying to work with these energies that have been burdensome to us, work with them in a new way so that we can carry them differently so that we can move forward in a better way. Okay, so that was just my off the top. So let me just tell you what I'm seeing here now. Okay, so first of all, we have a lot of passion and we have a lot of air. Excuse me, we have a lot of fire, we have a lot of air. We have a lot of things going on in our mind and a lot of things going on in our passions. There's a lot of fire energy here in this spread, a lot of fire energy. Okay, so just be aware for May 2024, there may be a lot of heightened energy of activation. I'll just say that, which is not necessarily bad, but it can be energy that can be very, very intense and make us feel a certain type of way. Okay, so we'll go into Spirit. Spirit, what would you like to say about the Six of Swords? Okay, so Spirit is saying about the Six of Swords that Spirit understands that there is a desire by many on the planet right now to move to smoother waters, for things to calm down. And that is a understandable request. It's a noble request. But there are things that we have to do within our own lives first to get to that state. So Spirit is saying there's so much energy on the planet right now. And part of some people just want it to just go away. They just want it to stop. They just want things to calm down. But things on the planet will not calm down until we internally calm down. And that is not about a quick fix. This is about doing the necessary internal work that we all need to do to bring about a different state on the planet. We don't need to worry about what's going on 3,000 miles away. I mean, if you do, it's okay to have care and compassion what's happening, across the country, across the world, of course. But don't let that, what's happening in another region, distract you from the necessary work that you need to do to heal yourself, to move yourself to smoother waters. It's not an external thing. It's about when you feel calm and centered and integrated in your own life, then your world will change. And you'll still be able to look and see with compassion what's happening in different regions and different parts of the world, but you will not feel as affected and as activated. That doesn't mean you're going to be numb. It doesn't mean you're going to be detached, but you're going to be able to be compassionate and empathetic without being overwhelmed or overwrought or distraught. So Spirit is saying you have to do the necessary internal work to move to your own smoother waters. And that's an internal process. That's the thing you have to do. And that has to do with working with your mind and working with your passions and the things that can activate you and the things that can get you fired up. Because this is just me speaking now. With the fact that this whole thing is just air and fire, it's very interesting. And as far as the wands go, two of the more difficult cards in the wand suit are part of this deck. Two of the cards that are considered the most difficult, the 9 and the 10. And the 9 and the 10, are just saying that we're going to be in a process of transformation, of growing out of certain older energies that we were holding on to when it had to do with our passion and our activations and our creativities and the things that, may have made us feel beleaguered and burdened. So that was just me talking. Let me see what Spirit has to say about this. Okay, Spirit is saying that many of us, most of us, if not all, have lived in an embattled, beleaguered state for far too long. We've all been wounded in battle. No one is exempt. So Spirit is saying it's time for us, again, to turn within and come out of that energy of feeling bruised and beaten and battered. We no longer have to be this person here. We no longer have to be this man here. We don't have to walk around as the walking wounded. Spirit is saying it's time for us to come out of the energy of being the walking wounded. Spirit is even saying for those of us who are kind of like the walking dead, that's pretty, okay, strong, okay? So Spirit is saying we have to like rise up and come out of just living in this embattled space, of having been, constantly on the defensive, constantly bruised, constantly taking licks. Spirit is saying in order to step into the energy of what's happening on the earth, the newer energy that's being coming onto the earth, and utilizing it and maximizing it to its greatest potential, we have to step into our own, these are my words now, our own internal power, and stop feeling so beleaguered and battered. We have work that we need to do, but that own work can only come from healing what's within. That's why this card came up as an obstacle position to say, we have to stop feeling so beleaguered and battered, and we have to do the internal work that's necessary to heal our own bruises, to mend our own wounds, and to like stop taking licks. That's what I'm receiving. Like we need to stop taking the licks. Yeah, the hits and the blows and stuff like that. Yeah, Spirit is just highly encouraging us to stop walking around as the walking dead. I feel like it's so interesting that they're using that word. To stop walking around as the walking dead, stop walking around as the walking wounded, to embrace ourselves, to care for ourselves, to really mend the ways that we've been hurt, heal all the bruising that we've received on our body, both externally and internally, so that we can move to smoother waters in our life as represented by the Six of Swords. Okay. As it pertains to the Five of Swords, if there are places in our life where we felt betrayed, taken advantage of, that like maybe somebody got something over on us, somebody did something to us, Spirit is saying it's time to transform that energy and let it go. Okay, this is making sense. So yesterday, I personally did a reading for myself on the new moon. And what Spirit shared with me in that reading I did for myself for the new moon is that if someone is not in your life, it's because they're not supposed to be here. If someone is not in your life, it's because they are not meant to be there. This, whatever heartbreak you're feeling, whatever pain you're feeling over lost relationships, Spirit is reminding you that if you feel betrayed in any way, that the people that you thought were going to stand by you are not standing by you. They've betrayed you, they've taken advantage of you, they've deceived you, they just did you dirty. Spirit is saying, yes, and it's time to let it go. That thing happened. That thing happened. You were hurt by it, but it's time to let it go. Because ultimately, if those people did those things to you, hurt you, betrayed you, even broke your heart, because we have this card here, right? Spirit is saying, okay. And that's because Spirit is saying, okay, they understand the pain that you're in, how it may be hard to let these things go, but you have to let it go because those people were not meant to be in your life. They weren't meant to be in your life. They weren't meant to stay in your life. They cannot be a part of where you're going. And so sometimes the relationships had to be broken apart, or you have discovered things about people in ways that were hurtful or that they behaved in hurtful ways. You had to find out those things so you could unequivocally walk away from those relationships and let them go. You would not hold on to them. So you and the persons are severed. It could be family, friends, relationships, whatever the case may be. You and the relationships are severed. And now you're like, oh my God, this hurts so much. But Spirit is saying, yes, it hurts, but yes, but there's something you can do about it. Yes, you can stop feeling so bruised. Yes, you can work on healing your heart. Yes, you can work on letting things go because you have to let the thing go so you can move into new energy. So, yeah, the relationship is severed, and you and the person's people, whatever's, are not going to be in each other's lives anymore for a variety of reasons. And Spirit is saying, well, that has been very hurtful. It is that way for a reason. And Spirit is saying to trust that it is this way for a reason. It is this way for a reason, and the reason is for your own good. So step into the energy of that. If there's been any separations in your life, any breakups, any betrayals, any hurts, Spirit is saying, yes, they occurred, and they occurred because those people no longer needed to be in your life, and you needed to see unequivocally why they didn't need to be in your life, and now you mend the pain that's remaining. Don't hold on to it, mend it, heal it, and let it go. And Spirit is just calling back to mind that if these people aren't in your life, it's for your own good. And Spirit is reminding you that if these people are not in your life, it's for your own good. It's for your own good. Just as you're working through the pain of your crisis or whatever situation you're in, remember, it's for your own good that these people are not in your life. And Spirit is highly encouraging you to embrace that, to think about it, to meditate on it, journal about it, really, really take stock of it. Because, and this makes sense, right? because this is the center. This is the fourth card. Spirit is saying it's for your own good so you can have a new celebration, a new passion, a new identity, and you can have a new beginning, and you can call in joy and passion into your life. And think about it. This card, the card of betrayal, right, is bookended by the card of heartbreak. So this is you in the center. This is us. This is the collective in the center. We have some work to do to get to this place, and it's necessary, but we can get there so that we can have a new outlook, a new beginning, a new foundation. Then we can have a new inspiration and a new awakening. Spirit, what would you like to say about the Four of Wands? It's time to awaken and embrace ourselves fully, to connect with our passions, our inspirations, our joy, our creativity, our spirituality, and don't just be connected with yourself through pain. Spirit is saying, don't be connected through yourself with yourself only through pain, only through feelings of hurt and betrayal, being taken advantage of, heart, people saying mean things to you and hurting your heart. Spirit is saying, connect with yourselves through your passions, your inspirations, your creativity and joy. And that energy of fire will carry you through the things that you are going through, that we are all experiencing. What would you like to say about the Three of Swords? Again, we cannot always hold on to heartbreak. We have to release heartbreak and we have to let it go. I always see with the Three of Swords, excuse me, I always see with the Three of Swords, the swords being pulled out. And yes, there is some blood dripping. But as soon as as soon as the sword is pulled out, the wound immediately closes. And yes, there's a trickle of blood, so you know the wound was there, but the sword is pulled out and it just immediately closes. And so Spirit is saying to stop carrying around these swords in our heart. Stop twisting the knife in our own hearts. Stop hurting ourselves with painful reminders and thinking about the past, thinking about the things that hurt us, thinking about the past, the people that hurt us. Spirit is encouraging us to work with our thoughts so that we can heal our heart. We have to work with our thoughts so that we can heal our heart. And when we do so, we'll begin to carry our burdens differently. So the 10 of Wands, the 10 is basically the nine, this nine character. He's getting ready to go through a period of the Nine of Wands. He's getting ready to go through a period of transformation because nines are about transformation. And when we get to the tens are kind of like the culmination of a release and a new beginning because you're starting over again because a 10 turns into a 1 and it's like you're starting the cycle over again. And so you're being encouraged with the 10 of Wands to start the cycle over again. Reassess your burdens. Look at your heart. Look at where you've been bruised and battered. Do the necessary internal work to transform these burdens, to turn them over again. Excuse me. To transform these burdens, to turn things over again so that you can begin to work with this fire energy in a new way so that you're not always beleaguered, you're not always battered, and you're not always burdened. The 10 of Wands is an opportunity to take this, reassess it, recalibrate it, and shift it so that we can carry it in a way that's more supportive of us and makes us feel lighter in our journey. So with the 10 of Wands, you're being called on to reassess, re-examine, and to shift that burden that you've been carrying and assess it into, is it assess? I just feel like it's, how can I put this? It's like you have this big bundle, you don't know what to do, but then you kind of like turn it around in a certain way or wrap it in a certain way. And then you just put it on your back and you're just carrying it in a much lighter way. And you're like, oh, this is not heavy at all. This is actually rather light. Is because you've really taken a look and taken stock of things And now you're doing it in a completely different way. So Spirit is saying you're going to have to do things in a completely different way. So this is what we're being called on to do for May of 2024. We're being called on to do a lot of inner work, to deal with our inner turmoil, to deal with our mind, and to stop feeling so beleaguered so that we can have a new foundation and create and connect with a new joy and build something new for ourselves that's more sustainable and that's more nourishing. So we have a 6, we have a 9, we have a 5, a 4, we have a 3, and we have a 10. Yeah. So this spread is and the spread in the energy for May 2024 is very collective, heavy on healing and releasing betrayals and wounds so that we can move to smoother waters and so that we can shift our burdens. So that we can move to smoother waters mentally and shift our burdens. That's what we're being called on to do. Yeah. Very, very, very important. Very, very important that we do this. Trying to see what else. Yeah. A lot of air here. Yeah. And we have to make sure we take care of ourselves and really do the inner work that's necessary. Is there anything else, Spirit? Okay. So, and then now we're going to give you a message from the Divine Masters Oracle deck by Kyle Gray. I love this deck. Okay. See what the message is from Spirit, the Ascended Masters. Well, message from the Ascended Masters on how we can take care of ourselves for May of 2024. Ascended Masters, please speak to us. One message for 2024. Okay. So we have the Atlanteans are here, and it says, be in the vibration of evolution, evolution vibration, legacy, technology, progress, and accept acceleration. Let's see what they have to say about accepting acceleration. Okay. Legend has it that Atlantis was an advanced civilization that existed thousands of years ago in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Its people were highly evolved and had many spiritual gifts. They were telepathic, psychic, and known for the ability to combine the law of science and nature with spirituality to develop the technology and create heaven on earth. But somewhere along the way, many of them stopped respecting their gifts and spiritual connection. This caused a great cataclysm that brought their civilization to an end. The Atlanteans of this card are those who continue to live with spiritual integrity and awareness. When Atlantis comes to an end, many of these beings ascended beyond the physical dimension and now act as a congregation of evolved souls who, like angels, work with those who are following the spiritual path and want to leave a legacy of light. You are a future thinker who will leave a legacy of healing and light. Think beyond boundaries and keep your future and the future of your close ones in mind when it comes to making a decision. Atlantean energy is here to help you align your pathway, one that supports the evolution of your soul and your family lineage. This is a time of transcending old ways of being and old patterns. So it might not always be easy to navigate, but it will be worth it in the long run. So that's what's come up in this spread, okay? That this is a time to transcend old ways of being and old patterns. And it's not always easy to navigate, as we see by these cards, right? But it will be worth it in the long run. Ideas, creativities, and new technological concepts are all around you now. Ideas, creativities, wands, fire, When it comes to forging new paths and thinking of the future, cut out any long-winded approaches and streamline everything you're doing. Streamline everything you're doing. That's that 10 of Wands energy. Streamline. Like I said, reassess, repackage, do things in a different way. This is a time of evolution. And so there's a good chance of resistance from old energies and the ego. Yes, if you feel challenged or encounter growing pains, know that you are on the right track. Persevere. I think that's in total alignment. Thank you. I think that's in total alignment with this, with the reading for today, for May 2024. Persevere. You are in alignment with what is happening, and you are capable of doing the necessary work so that whoever's listening to it and resonating with this message, can move forward. Because out of 6 cards, we got 3 air and 3 fire. Very, very interesting. Trying to think. I'm not trying to think. I'm trying to put my thinking aside so I can make sure I've received everything that you're supposed to be given. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So really take care of yourself. Like the book says, persevere. It's time to build a new foundation so you can stop feeling embattled, beleaguered. You can stop feeling betrayed. You can heal your heart, and you can reassess your burdens and carry them and deal with them in a new way that aren't so heavy for you. And the message from the Atlanteans is supporting that completely. It's time for you to move to reassess your burdens, to move to smoother water so that you can move to a new vibration. It's time to move to a new vibration. That only comes through the work of healing ourselves and integration of our wounds. And like we were saying here, removing the bruises from your body. And that comes from doing the internal work from within. When you do that internal work within, you won't feel so bruised externally. I hope that makes sense. So I really like this. And I really love bringing in the energy of the Divine Masters. Okay, so what I'm going to say to you for May of 2024, I hope this message reaches you well. I hope it resonates with you. Please let me know in the comments how it spoke to you, what you took from it, how it vibrated for you. If you'd like a personal, more in-depth reading with me, the information is in the description box below. Again, my name is Sonia Ross. I am a psychotherapist, an intuitive messenger, and an author. And I'm wishing you the absolute best for May of 2024 to the collective. Peace.